Have you noticed someone you love, perhaps your grandmother, your father, or a once gentle neighbor, now seems to lose their temper more easily? The slightest noise, the wrong word, a misgreeting, and suddenly they're upset. You pause. You wonder, why is this happening? Why does someone so dear, so kind seem to change? It's easy to feel hurt. It's even easier to get frustrated. But today, let's take a moment, not to blame, not to judge, but to understand, because behind every burst of anger, there might be something deeper. It could be pain. It could be fear. It could be memories slipping away in silence. In this video, we'll gently explore 6 reasons why our elderly loved ones may become more irritable, emotional, or withdrawn. And perhaps, by understanding what lies beneath the surface, we can replace frustration with compassion. After all, sometimes the loudest cries come from the quietest hearts. Number 1, the brain is changing, and it's not their fault. You see, the brain, that magical control tower of memory, emotions, and reason, doesn't quite stay the same as we grow older. In fact, for many elderly people, especially past their 70s, certain parts of the brain begin to shrink ever so gently, like a library where some books start disappearing, slowly, without warning. The frontal lobe, responsible for judgment and impulse control, well, let's just say it sometimes takes a little holiday. That's why a small inconvenience, like a misplaced remote or a doorbell ringing too long, can suddenly feel like the end of the world. It's not that they want to snap. It's just their internal filters, the ones that once whispered, "Stay calm. It's not a big deal," aren't working quite like they used to. Imagine trying to hold a cup of tea with a shaky hand. That's how it feels for their emotions, delicate, unstable, spilling over. When bumped, so when Grandpa shouts because the soup is too cold, or Grandma sighs loudly because you didn't close the curtain just right, it might not be about the soup or the curtain. It might just be their brain doing the best it can with the tools it has left. And here's a gentle truth. They're probably more confused by their own reactions than we are. So next time it happens, try not to fire back. Maybe smile, maybe nod, maybe say, "It's okay. I felt like that too." Because what they need most isn't correction. It's kindness, and maybe a warm blanket or a biscuit. Number 2, they're not sleeping like they used to. Once upon a time, they could sleep through thunderstorms, barking dogs, and the neighbors' karaoke at 2 a.m. Now, one creak of the floorboard, and it's as if the world's ending, you see. As we age, our sleep becomes lighter and more fragile. Deep, restorative sleep, the kind that soothes the soul and resets our patience, becomes harder to reach. Imagine going to bed at 9 p.m., waking up at 2 a.m., tossing and turning till 4, and finally falling asleep, only to be woken up by a bird outside at 5. Anyone would be grumpy. Even the Dalai Lama might raise an eyebrow. For many elderly people, chronic sleep disturbance means they're waking up tired, restless, and more sensitive to noise, discomfort, or anything slightly out of place. It's not just about being moody. It's their brain running low on fuel. Sleep fuels emotional control. And when the tank is empty, even small things can spark a fire. Why is this toast so hard? Why didn't you pick up the phone on the first ring? Why is the cat staring at me? These might sound funny to us, but to them, in a sleep-deprived haze, it feels serious. And let's not forget, many elders silently struggle with pains and aches that keep them from sleeping well. A stiff back, cramps in the legs, a bladder with the punctuality of a Swiss watch. So when they seem a little off in the morning, try to imagine what their night was like. Maybe offer a warm drink, a softer tone, or simply patience. Because sometimes, all a tired heart needs is to feel safe and seen, and maybe let them nap during the movie, even if it's the good part. If this video brought a smile to your face or warmed your heart, don't forget to tap the like button. Number 3, they feel left out, even when they're in the room. Loneliness is not always about being alone. Sometimes, it's about feeling invisible in a room full of people. For many elderly people, especially those who once bustled through life with purpose, raising children, managing a household, fixing things no one else could fix. Growing old can feel like slowly fading into the background. Conversations move too fast. Jokes don't land the same. Everyone's glued to a screen. And they're just there, sitting, watching, waiting to be noticed. And when the world no longer listens, sometimes the only way to be heard is to raise your voice. Why didn't you tell me you were going out? No one asked what I wanted for dinner. You treat me like I don't matter anymore. It stings to hear, doesn't it? But perhaps it stings even more to feel that way every day. That irritation, that quick temper. It might just be the echo of a heart that misses being needed, a soul that still longs to matter. And here's the tender truth. Growing old doesn't mean they've stopped loving, worrying, or wanting to be part of your life. So if they seem upset over nothing, ask yourself, could it be everything to them? A shared cup of tea. What do you think, Grandpa? A slow walk around the garden, small acts, but to them, they feel like sunlight. Because when someone's been strong for so long and suddenly feels left behind, even a gentle word can bring them back. Number 4. They're in pain, but nobody sees it. Pain is a strange thing. You can't always see it. It doesn't wear a sign or announce itself with a trumpet. But for many elderly people, pain is like an uninvited guest, always there, always. Tapping on their shoulder, the knees ache when they stand, the back stiffens when they sit, and the hips complain just for existing. But here's the catch. They don't always say it. Some don't want to be a burden. Others have grown up in a time when you just got on with it. You didn't complain. You didn't fuss. So instead of saying, I'm hurting, they might say, why are you moving the chair like that? Why is the soup not hot enough? Why? Do you always forget the salt? But what they're really saying is, I'm tired. My body hurts. I feel trapped inside it. Imagine waking up every day with invisible weights on your joints. Imagine smiling while your bones whisper complaints with every step. It's no wonder their patience runs thin. Physical pain drains emotional energy. It shortens the fuse. It makes even little things like noise, light, or clutter feel like too much. So the next time they snap, try to hear what they aren't saying. Ask gently, are you feeling okay today? Offer a cushion, a foot rub, or simply some time to rest. And if they grumble while you do it, don't worry. That's just their love language with a limp. Because behind every sharp word might be a very soft ache. And behind every ache is someone longing to feel safe again. Number 5. They've lost control over their own lives. Once, they were the ones who decided everything. What time dinner was served, what car to buy, what color to paint the kitchen wall. Even if it ended up a very suspicious shade of green, they were the planners, the protectors, the ones who made the rules. But now, someone else books their doctor's appointments. Someone else decides when they eat, what they eat, and even how much salt they're allowed to have. It's like the steering wheel of life has slowly been taken out of their hands. And here's the thing. Even if all the decisions are made with love, losing that sense of agency hurts. Imagine someone telling you what to wear, where to sit, when to shower. Every day you get snappy too. Why do you keep touching my stuff? I told you I don't like chicken on Tuesdays. You treat me like a child. It's not really about the chicken. It's about dignity. Because growing old doesn't mean they stop wanting respect. It doesn't mean they stop needing to feel in charge of something, even if it's just the garden hose or the biscuit tin. So whatever possible, offer choices. Not because you need their permission, but because they need to feel seen. Ask, would you like tea or coffee today? Want to wear the blue jumper or the gray one? Tiny things, but to them, it says, you still matter. Your voice is still heard, and in a world that keeps changing around them, that might be the one thing that helps them stay steady. Number 6. They're scared, but they don't know how to say it. Fear wears many masks. And for the elderly, it often comes disguised as anger, fussiness, or silence. Imagine waking up one day and realizing the world has changed and you no longer understand all its buttons and beats. Your body doesn't feel like your own. Your memory sometimes flickers like a light bulb. Friends slowly disappear, one by one, but no one talks about it. That fear of being forgotten, of falling ill, of losing independence, of not being you anymore. It builds up like steam inside, but rather than say, "I'm frightened," they might say, "You never listen. Don't treat me like that. You don't understand me at all." And maybe they're right. Maybe we don't understand the storm they're trying to sail through, with no map and an old creaky boat. So instead of getting defensive, try to hear the heart beneath the noise, because fear is loudest when it's lonely. Hold their hand. Let them know, "I'm here," no matter what. Even if they don't respond the way you expect, even if they grumble or roll their eyes, deep down, they hear you. And in a world that feels like it's slipping away, your presence is the anchor. They may not say they're scared, but they show it. And sometimes, the kindest response to fear is simply not walking away. You see, growing old isn't a tragedy. It's a masterpiece in slow motion. But like all great art, it needs time, patience, and someone who's willing to sit beside it and truly look behind every outburst, behind every sigh or scolding word. There is always a story, a memory, a scar, a fear, a hope, and sometimes just a longing to still matter. So before we judge their moods, let's pause. Let's lean in with gentleness. Let's ask not what's wrong with them, but rather what happened to them. Because love isn't just about flowers and birthdays. It's in the listening, the tea shared without a word, the patience when they repeat the same story for the 5th time. And when we do that, when we give that soft space, something beautiful happens. They soften too, not because we fixed them, but because we saw them. Thank you so much for staying with us through this heartfelt journey. If this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of someone you love, or helped you see an elder's heart just a little more clearly, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel, not just to help us grow, but to help these gentle messages reach those who need them most, because sometimes the right words at the right time can heal more than we realize. From our heart to yours, thank you. And give someone older than you a smile today. You never know how long they've been waiting for one